Today, we will share about the size of the U.S. military, a historical overview. Let's start. Today, there is no military force on Earth comparable to the United States. American military strategy has long emphasized the ability to engage and triumph in two simultaneous wars against major powers, a capability widely acknowledged by other nations. While the United States has been entangled in prolonged low-intensity conflicts with terrorist and insurgent groups, these engagements do not accurately showcase the full extent of its military prowess. These conflicts, characterized by low intensity and a war of attrition, are won by gradually winning hearts and minds. In a kinetic war against another nation's military, none can rival America's strength, particularly when supported by its closest allies. However, the United States military wasn't always the formidable force it is today. Let's delve into the historical size of the U.S. military. The U.S. military officially originated with the War for Independence in 1776, but it wasn't until the establishment of the Department of War, now the Department of Defense, in 1789 that formal records were kept. During the Revolutionary War, volunteer soldiers called Minutemen constituted a significant portion of the American military. The American Marine Corps, established alongside the U.S. Army during the war, was deactivated post-war and didn't reappear until the construction of the American Navy in 1794. Official records were scarce until the establishment of the Department of the Army in 1789, with the American military numbering only 718 soldiers. This figure is starkly contrasted with the British military, numbering around 200,000 at the time. Due to financial constraints and the nation's early struggles with self-governance, the American military heavily relied on volunteer soldiers forming militias for defense. The American military faced challenges defending the young nation, especially during the War of 1812 against the British. Militias were tasked with defending their cities, falling under the command of regular army generals during war. Lack of substantial manpower until the late 1800s forced the American military to rely heavily on local militias for collective defense. This historical context sheds light on the seemingly peculiar American fascination with gun ownership, rooted in the early years when the nation had to defend itself. In 1794, the U.S. Navy had approximately 1,856 sailors, and the American Army numbered 3,813. The United States Marine Corps, re-established in 1794, didn't have its first 83 official Marines until 1798. The American military remained relatively small until the War of 1812, where it peaked at 38,000 soldiers, 8,000 sailors, and 648 Marines in 1814. Subsequent wars, such as the Mexican-American War in 1846 and the American Civil War in 1861, saw fluctuations in military strength. The aftermath of these conflicts led to the professionalization of the American military, establishing a large standing army. The Spanish-American War in 1898 marked a significant shift, with the U.S. military swelling to over 235,000 active-duty troops, including sailors and Marines. The post-World War II era solidified the United States as a global power, maintaining a force of 1.5 million active-duty personnel. The Korean War in 1951 doubled the size of the military to over 3 million, a trend that fluctuated in subsequent conflicts such as Vietnam. Today, the American military maintains a peacetime force of 1.2 million professional volunteer soldiers, backed by significant air and naval power. The strength of the United States military lies not only in its might but also in its close alliances with nations like Australia, Britain, France, Germany, and Japan. These alliances, particularly NATO, have played a crucial role in preventing major wars for the past 80 years. Do you believe the US and its allies can effectively prevent another major war? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this content, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more engaging material.